Welcome to the February 22nd, 2022 Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for the town of Raymond. The Zoning Board of Appeals will come to order. The board does have a quorum. Now I'm going to do a roll call. David Murch.
Tom Hennessy.
Craig Dean.
This is a public proceeding, and unless the board specifically votes to go into executive session, you have the right to hear everything that is said and to look at all of the exhibits presented. Please notify the chair if you are unable to see or hear. The board works from a published agenda and will be considering tonight's items in the following order. Hopefully, get that. No. Did have it up on my screen. So agenda is call to order. Number 2, approval of minutes from the January 25th, 2022 meeting. Number 3, old business, of which we have none. New business, public hearing for an administrative appeal, notice of violation issued 12/16/2021. Applicant Leah Rachin Esquire on behalf of Management Controls LLC. Part of our agenda will be to consider the appellant's request to table the application, and subsequent to that, continuation of the public hearing for this appeal, which is dependent on the ZBA decision for the request to table. Next will be an administrative appeal, notice of violation issued January 4, 2022. Applicant, again, Leah Rachin Esquire on behalf of Q Team Inc. Consideration of appellant's request to table, and then subsequent to that, continuation of the public hearing for this appeal, which will be dependent upon the ZBA decision for the request to table. Then we will have code enforcement officer communications, and then finally adjournment. In each instance, the burden is upon the applicant to demonstrate compliance with the provisions of the applicable ordinances or state law. After the board votes on the merits of each application, it will prepare a written notice of decision, because the notice of decision may substantially affect any appeals rights. And also, as a matter of courtesy, the board asks those attending the meeting with regards to a specific application not leave until the board has completed its discussion. Generally speaking, appeals from adverse decisions must be filed with the Superior Court as otherwise provided by law within 45 days of this board's decision. Also, to be certain that you preserve your individual rights to file any such appeal, must be certain that the board's record evidences your appearance this evening in opposition and the basis for your opposition. All persons speaking, including representatives of the applicant and members of the public. I apologize. Hold on 1 minute. Their dogs are trying to join in here. So again, all persons speaking, including representatives of the applicant and members of the public, are asked to to state their name, their address, their affiliation with the application, as for, opposed, or neutral. All persons speaking shall address all remarks or questions to the chair. This meeting is not over until the board is formally adjourned. Any discussion not included on the meeting agenda or accepted by the board is to be held until after adjournment or conducted outside of the room. So next up on our agenda is approval of minutes for January 25th, 22 meeting. Assuming everybody has had a chance to review those. Do I have a motion to accept those minutes?
I propose a motion to accept the minutes as read.
I will second that motion. Do we have any further discussion on that? All right, all in, well, I'm gonna have to do a roll call vote since this is Zoom. Greg, yay to approval of the minutes.
Yay, approved.
Thanks, Tom. Approval of the minutes.
Yay.
Yay as well. So that's done. So new business, administrative appeal, notice of violation issued 12/16/2021. Applicant Leah B. Ratchin Esquire on behalf of Management Controls LLC. Location 8 Fernwood Road, map lot 001022, zone LRR2. Description of this appeal is an administrative appeal from notice of violation. I did receive a email from Leah indicating that she says, thank you. I've communicated with Attorney Manahan, who is copied here, regarding our representative attendance on February 22nd. Given the circumstances, we have agreed that neither one of us will be attending next Tuesday night's meeting. My understanding is that the client's mitigation plan will be submitted to the CEO by early next week at the latest. I'm hopeful that the town and my clients will be able to come to terms. If so, we will certainly withdraw this appeal. At this point, however, I am unable to do so because in the likely event that we are unable to resolve the matter, I must preserve my client's appeals rights. That was from Leah. And then I had a email from Matt Manahan, which I believe is the town's attorney, town's representative, stating Sharon Murch, given Ms. Rotchin's representation that her clients will not be represented by legal counsel at next Wednesday's Board of Appeals meeting, we will also not appear at the meeting on the town's behalf. Thanks, Matt. So it's my understanding that neither one of them will be here tonight in representation. I do know in regards to this appeal, it has been requested by all parties that this appeal be tabled. We also have letters from our code enforcement officer, Alex, indicating that he is also willing to have this tabled until for the next meeting. So it will be Board of Appeals decision tonight as to whether or not we honor that request to table, or do we move forward with this? The one thing I will ask, or one thing that I did notice, is that this is for an appeal notice of violation that was issued on December 16, 2021. Our ordinances require that all appeals be filed within 30 days of a notice of violation. This was filed 33 days. And I believe Alex has some insight onto that. We have to make a decision as to whether or not this we can even consider this, because from my understanding, it was 33 days after the notice of violation, which would put it 3 days after when it should have been filed. So Alex, can you speak to that?
Yes, they did reach out. I can't remember exactly when, and asked if they could, if we would allow them to have until the first business day after the deadline, since the deadline fell on a weekend. And we did check with our attorney, and he felt that that was fair and common practice. So we told them that they could submit it on that first business day.
Okay, that first business day would have been the day after. Shoot, I can't think of what it was. Patriots Day, 17th anyways. So whatever that day was. So Greg, Tom, I mean, given that, what Alex has said, I mean, I'm not opposed to continuing on with this appeal, given how it was conveyed to the applicant, that they reached out, they made no assumptions, they were given direction by the town of Raymond to submit on the first business day. Or I'm okay with continuing to move forward with this administrative appeal, or both of you okay with that as well?
I'm okay.
Yeah, I think it seems reasonable. I mean, when did they reach out? You don't remember when, was it?
I don't remember for sure. I could look and find out. It was, I believe, a week or two before the deadline.
Okay.
But
So if we say no, they would have they, in theory, would have appealed.
Yeah, I mean,
under the
they
pretense that we would have said that they would have been late. So
yeah, I don't know what the reasoning was for being on the back end of it. They may sometimes with sending these certified, it does take a couple of weeks for them to actually get the notice. I'm not exactly sure what the reasoning was. I do know they did reach out to us though and asked for clarification on the deadline, and we did tell them that first business day after the deadline would be acceptable.
yeah, seems reasonable.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and continue forward with this then. So part one of this is really consideration of the appellant's request to table. As of today, I have not heard anything otherwise than the request from the applicant to table. The town attorney has made it clear that they would like to table. Alex's letters have indicated that he is willing to table as well. I'm assuming here tonight, Alex, you have not changed your mind on that?
No, I have not changed my mind. I have no issue.
So Craig, Tom, are you, your thoughts on this to move forward with just tabling this until the next meeting? Again, the thought is that a mitigation plan is being submitted to the town of Raymond. And that hopefully that mitigation plan will be approved. If not, then subsequent to that, this appeal would then be looked at the next ZBA meeting, which is in the last Tuesday of March. Just kind of putting that out there for discussion with regards to that request to table. Any reservations to do that?
It's Tom. I have a few questions, probably for Alex or whoever can answer them. I guess my first question is, if the violation was cited back in December or whatever, when is the start date of the penalties? That date, or when we finally make a settlement on the mitigation plan?
You mean for like a monetary fine?
Yes, fines, whatever else is required.
Yeah, so there's a couple different possibilities for that. My understanding is fines can be assessed from the date the violation occurred. Which, in case you're wondering, for us is October 14th, I believe, off the top of my head.
Okay. I guess my next question is, does the board in the end make the final decision on exactly what is in the mitigation plan based on what you and the other lawyer have agreed to?
No, that would actually be the select board. So if there's a mitigation plan and a consent agreement, that consent agreement is actually entered in by the select board. You guys won't have to, if everything goes well, you guys actually hopefully won't have to review anything. There's always a possibility that the discussion could go the other direction. And essentially what they're looking to do is reserve their right to appeal in that situation if they need to, which is pretty common. So you shouldn't have to look at the restoration plan or the consent agreement if that's the route this goes, fortunately.
Okay. I guess follow-up question is, if this is a de novo hearing, are we supposed to go and do an on-site also and start from scratch on what your findings were, or exactly how does it work, I guess?
That's a great question. I think that you may need to do that, yes. It's possible you could do a site walk to actually view the site if you guys wanted to do that.
Okay. And I guess by postponing, I know you folks are working on a settlement, I'll say. But that also means we don't hear from the public opinion, right, until the next meeting. Or can we hear the public, if there is any public, on the call tonight?
I would suggest, I mean, you could see if there's any public opinion or any public input for tonight. But if you guys decide to table to next month, you would definitely want to, have a public hearing next month as well.
Okay. I guess the question is, if we don't hear from the public, maybe you on top of us could use that input if there is public on tonight's broadcast.
I will say, I actually haven't heard from anyone on this, surprisingly, other than DEP. They were really the only ones that have, expressed any concerns over this. We didn't really get a whole lot of, public opinion or outcry, surprisingly. Okay.
And can we actually tell if anyone is planning to dial in tonight or not?
I'm not seeing anyone. I'm acting as the host since Sandy is anyone other than the people you see here. And I do believe the call-in number is up on the screen.
Okay, and I see a face that says Desiree Merritt. Is that public or not public person?
I live next door.
There's the public.
I'm a butter, so I'm the public.
So I guess my question to David and Alex is, can we hear from the public? Because they're on the phone, I mean, they're on the Zoom and they've listened to what we talked about.
I mean, certainly from my perspective, I don't have any problem at all listening to the public as this goes on. Both the town attorney as well as the appellant's attorney were fully aware that this could continue tonight. So if we at least open this up to public comment, it won't be a surprise to them. There was nothing in advance saying that the board was dedicated to a decision one way or the other, which we shouldn't be. So, but I would also say that if we listen to the public, I would say after that, do we consider the request to table after hearing from the public? And then if so, open that back up to the public again when it, if we choose to table. Is that, what are you thinking about this, Greg? What are your thoughts?
Don't really have a ton of guidance on what the proper procedure is here. I'm not sure if you can open it to public and table it. I don't. It just does seem kind of contradictory to me, but
That's a good point.
it seems like either we table it or we don't. And if we table it, then public comment is at the next meeting. It's not tabled. Desiree can have her time and we can move forward. And just kind of logically how I would think about it. I don't know if you have any precedents or guidance.
Yeah, I don't have any for myself. What are you thinking, Tom?
I guess I personally would like to hear from anyone that has an opinion, especially in the butter, as long as it's not in violation of some rule or whatever. So
I will say that in the past, we have had meetings where we have opened it up. And we've heard from the applicant, we've heard from the public, we've had discussions as a board, and then we've chosen to table. And then so I don't think it's out of the realm of doing that, especially if I'm understanding Alex correctly. If we do choose to take that route, we could then retake that route if we do choose to table at the next meeting.
Yeah, I don't think there's any issues if you want to
We lost your audio.
I'm not getting any audio there.
I don't think there, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
For some reason, there's like a threshold. If I go too far back, it cuts me off. I don't necessarily think there's any issues with taking any public comment tonight, as long as we notice the next meeting has a public hearing as well. And, you know, like you said, David, this has happened before. Like I can think specifically the gentleman who wanted a setback variance, and he hadn't submitted a survey, and you guys decided to table. You know, it would be no different, I guess, if you decided to hold the public hearing tonight and then tabled to, because you wanted to do a site walk or something next month, and then reconvene at the next meeting and continue the discussion. So I think you're okay as long as we just advertise it as a public hearing for next month.
Okay. And there would be no additional penalty towards the applicant, right? They don't have to pay any additional.
No.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So I am open to, I would like to open this up to public comment unless I hear something, you know, from you, either Greg or Tom, as to why we shouldn't move forward with this. I am comfortable to opening up to public comment.
Yeah, I defer to you. I think it's your call. So
Okay, I know Tom would like this, so let's open up public comment with regards to administrative appeal, read notice of violation issued 12/16/2021. Is there anybody here that's speaking in, let's see what my order is, in, well, I guess in favor of this appeal for administrative appeal? Is there anybody here that would like to speak in opposition to this administrative appeal? The final is there anybody here that would like to, who is neutral in regards to this administrative appeal? Hoping one of those three fit for you, Desiree.
Yeah, I'm here to be informed as an abutter.
Okay,
So I would just like to know if you table it and you're going to have another meeting. We just want to be informed of what your decisions are.
okay, perfect. Thank you. So we will close public comments. I would say, given our public comments, given the fact that all parties involved would like to table this in favor of giving this mitigation plan a chance, I would definitely be open to a motion to table this appeal until the next ZBA meeting, which is in March. Do you have anybody that would be willing to make that motion?
I'd move to table the issue.
I would second. Do we have any further comment on this? It's good. So all in favor of moving forward with tabling this appeal? Greg?
Approved. Yes.
Tom?
Approved.
And David as well, approval of tabling this. So moving on, administrative appeal, re-notice of violation issued 1/4/2022, applicants Leah Ratchin Esquire on behalf of Q Team Inc. Location 18 Fernwood Road, map lot 001-022, zone LRR2, description administrative appeal from notice of violation. So this is the same property as the appeal for Management Controls LLC. The same requests from all parties to table. Any further discussion in regards to that? Consideration for this request to table? Given how we move forward with the request to table for management controls, I think we can just go ahead and look for a motion to table this administrative appeal as well. Do I have a motion for that?
So moved.
I will second that. Any further discussion? No. So all in favor of tabling this administrative appeal until the next March meeting for the ZBA. All in favor? Greg,
Approve.
Tom,
In favor?
David is well in favor, so that is also tabled. Moving on our agenda, Code Enforcement Officer Communications.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to communicate to you guys. You know, hopefully you guys don't even need to hear these appeals. I think you know, the attorneys sound optimistic that they'll come to an agreement on this, but it could take some time. So it may be something that is discussed next month, but it may be something that they're looking for you to table again next month. I don't really know. But it's definitely probably the largest violation I've seen ever, you know, since I've been doing this. So I think it's an important one. So we'll see where that goes. The ordinance amendments, I believe it looks like we'll be doing a public hearing on the ordinance amendments in April at the April planning board meeting. You know, as of right now, the changes that you guys had talked about over the last year are moving forward. So we'll see where that goes during public hearing and, you know, ultimately town meeting. So that stuff's moving forward, and things are starting to pick up. So we're starting to feel a little bit of that pre-spring as people start to come back to town. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Excellent. So, given all that, we're on to our last agenda item of adjournments. So I have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I will second that. All in favor? David, yes. Greg,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
all right. Good night, everyone.
Night.
Good night.